Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to Let's Humanize the Workplace with a different environment, right? I'm sitting in my kitchen, still sitting in my kitchen. For those of you who missed out, or for those of you who are joining for the first time, my name is Vivian Acquah, and I am a DEI consultant trainer. And I recently had an accident. I will share a little bit more. I'm bent but not broken. I broke my ankle 2 months ago. Tomorrow I'm celebrating 2 months ago, and luckily now I don't have a cast on, but what I am doing is rehabilitating. So learning how to walk, which is a whole new different thing. I am trying to learn and see things from different perspectives. Right? For those of you who don't know, I'm 1 meter 86, so everywhere I go, I'm very tall. And now I'm sitting at this position where I am seeing things from a different perspective, but also learning a lot to be reflective on the journey, to be more considerate. And it's teaching me a lot about my temporary disability, is teaching me a lot about, okay, for those who are dealing with a permanent disability, or for those who are dealing with a temporary disability, right? Being mindful with that. So I don't know when I will be ready to write more about the lessons that I've learned about this journey, but I just wanted to share that I'm doing okay. Like you can see, I can talk, I can smile. It's an 80-20 situation where I'm dealing with the things, but luckily, we can have a conversation, right? So for today, I am bringing in Selena Thompson and also Marjolein Vlug, and let me do their bio, right? Do their bio. So today we are going to talk about to AI or not to AI at work, because that is a question that a lot of people are asking. So let's talk about this during Let's Humanize the Workplace. But first of all, Selena Thompson is a digital adaptation expert, and she helps people and brands succeed in the digital age through change and business transformation. And Marjolein is a coach. She coaches people on creating a career that truly fits, and she brings her certified coaching skills to support DEI professionals and allies. And I know there are two different people, different perspectives, different insights, and I do that on purpose, right? Because this is how the workplace is being made up. You don't have people with the same expertise all together, and that's how I love having these conversations. So in the beginning, my line was asking me like, about why do I need to sit in here and have this conversation? And I'll share more about the why, but I said, like, you need to be here. We need to have this conversation. And also Selena, I know about Selena for quite a while now, but I saw her, I think early this spring. I saw her at an OMEC event, right? So shout out to OMEC all the time. They're organizing great events. But I saw her and I'm just like, why haven't we had a conversation on my platform? And Selena was like, I don't know. Well, people who know me know that I can sometimes be the penguin that pushes the other penguin, right, in the cold water. The people that work with me that know me know that I do this, and I hate it when people do this to me. But then again, I'm the person, like, I know both of them are excellent people, brilliant people, and we need to hear more about them. So that's why I'm bringing them on my platform as well. So let's start with you, Selena. Why do we need to humanize the workplace?
Why do we not? Why do we not? I mean, I think in the work that we do
Mhm.
between the three of us, we see it so clearly, okay? Like work does not happen without humans, despite
Yeah.
what news is telling us with robots and tech, we still need humans. And to do that, we have to have inclusive and safe environments for humans. So we have to humanize the workplace. It is as simple
Mhm.
as that, creating those environments where people want to be.
Love that. Love that. And you say, why don't we? But some there are companies out there. Well, let's see. I told a lot of people that Amazon is coming, and Amazon is here
We
right
did.
now, just at this moment.
No
Very
spawns, no
important, very
spawns.
important. But let's leave the conversation out of it. You mentioned that we cannot have an organization without humans, whilst other people. Oh, whilst other people seem to think like we don't need humans, we can replace them. What do you think about that?
I would love to see how, because I'm a convenience person through and through. So I anything that I can kind of outsource or give to somebody else to do, that is me. However, we are not there yet as a society. We're still training technology, we're still getting technology to learn us. So I think until we get to the stage where we can fully say, you know what, everything can do exactly the same as the human, then we are not there yet. And I still think we need humans in some form.
Okay, this scares me, but I don't want to dive into that right now because that is for the second part. Marjolein,
Okay.
what's your take on humanizing the workplace when you think about AI
Mm.
or think about tech?
Yeah. Um, I really believe that, Selena, just like you're saying, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about you and about what you're thinking, what you're seeing. So I'm really happy to be in this conversation. Um, I'm, I'm tech can serve us, and we want it there to serve us and not to get in the way of our humanness. That's such an important piece, because there's so much that's already getting in the way of us being human, whether it's in the workplace or at home or in society, in politics, in so many places. There's so much that's pushing the humanity out and pushing just all of our beings out. Let tech serve that rather than contribute to that. I think that's the most important thing.
And
I
you
mean, Vivian,
mentioned,
you've been having so many conversations already about humanizing the workplace and all about all kinds of factors that
mhm,
get in the way or that are not optimal yet.
yeah,
There's so much already. Let's not get AI in the
yeah,
way.
yeah. And you said there's so much already been deactivated when it comes to humanizing. Can you share maybe two examples of for people to?
Well, what I'm thinking of, for example, is workplace culture,
Mm,
where people are expected to just sort of zip open and drop their human coats and step in as robots and just be completely rational beings. And that's not how
yeah,
it works, but it
yeah,
keeps being what some organizations expect of us. I see that in career coaching and how people are expected to set up their applications, for example.
mm,
I see that in DEI, where people are expected to just follow the norm of the people with the most privilege,
yeah,
white, male, able-bodied, a certain age, you name it, and
yeah,
that's the mold you have to fit in, and otherwise, um, there's so much. And
yeah.
we're having those conversations. You are enabling us to have those conversations, and us is everyone who's been a guest in your show, Vivian.
Mhm,
Um, there's so much of that, and I'm someone who keeps in my work, in my coaching, I keep reminding people, hey, you're a person, and
yeah,
you get to be you and show up as you wherever you go. And an environment that does not give space for that, either choose whether you can sort of push and change that and inspire, or anything you can do to change, or leave and go to a place where that is available. Yeah.
but then I'm going to challenge you because we are now getting into the place that is about the topic to AI or not to AI in the workplace.
Mhm.
And what's your perspective, Marjolein? Should we activate AI in the workplace?
Ha.
Why?
Um, my impression as a non super techie person, but someone who's sort of has their feelers out and seeing what's going on. Yes, bring AI in as a support, and then always check and always add in the human element, whether that is checking whether the information that the AI has gathered is true, add in the human personal flavor. And this is, me talking about, text generators and things like that. And add in the individual specific ingredients, because what I see AI do is work with sort of an amalgam and the average of that. And anytime you don't want the average of everything that was put in, but you want something else, you're going to need to have AI and human capabilities, human skills, human talents, and humanness. That's my
I
take.
see Selena nodding her head
I'm
like,
nodding
okay,
away.
okay.
What do you think,
And
Selena?
I've got different light bulbs going off in my head, because
Mm-hmm.
I think what the challenge is
Yeah.
we have this amazing opportunity now to really let AI support us in being individuals. So like you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
it is about us being individual and being able to show up. And here we have technology that can really match us. But I do think one of the challenges is that a lot of organizations, their culture is not really where it should be.
For them to be able
Before,
to use AI, you mean? Or just
well,
without AI,
just
just in
in general,
general?
right? So even without AI, like culture is always a big topic, right, in organizations.
Yeah.
What's our
Yeah.
culture and how are we attracting talent and retaining talent?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of work goes into having whatever the values are for that organization.
Yeah.
The problem is if you're still on that journey and you're not sure where you want to be, and also then how that projects out to your customers, how is AI going to help you when a lot of what AI is about is mirroring whatever you're putting into it, whether
Yeah.
that's data, whether, how you want it to perform. If your
Mm-hmm.
organization is not where it should be, neither will your AI.
Your AI will mirror that, is what I'm
Your
hearing you say.
AI will mirror that. Yes.
Very good.
So I think this is the challenge. I think organizations are thinking, because they're thinking productivity. That's the number one thing that always happens first,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I want more, I want to get more done and be more efficient. Yeah.
Which can happen. Which
Mm,
can happen
which is
when you
great.
use it wisely, right?
Yes. Yeah. 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 But that should not be the sole goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It to me, this is great because back to what you were saying, Marlene, it allows us to be able to spend more time having meaningful conversations at work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
if we use AI to do some of our more menial tasks, or even if we use AI to do things like, text conversion, speech
Mm-hmm.
recognition, all these things that can help more inclusive workplaces, we can get more done that's in the human interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to stir it apart because is
Ooh.
AI a threat? I mean, this needs some introduction. This is Mo Goddard, and he has been very pivotal within some of the products that Google has made, and he's now gone from Google. But there are some gurus out there that are warning us with the way that we are using AI, and that we also need to be conscious. Do we need AI? So, seeing what Mo is sharing, what's your perspective on it then?
Shall I go first?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched this podcast. I was really glued like this, like, oh
Yeah.
my God, what is he saying?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
do understand what he's saying. It is a threat in a lot of ways because, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like anything in society, you've got good and bad, right?
Yeah.
So I understand what he's saying, that used in the wrong way, this is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's missing from the conversation, which is what I was saying to you guys before we joined on air, is that we need to stop saying, is it good or is it bad?
Mm.
And start saying, if there are
Is it
elements,
in? Yeah.
yeah, if there's
Yeah.
elements which are bad, how can we prevent that? How can we reduce the risk? How can we mitigate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing because recently, it was on a Dutch news where criminals were using AI, ChatGPT, and AI to create scripts to fool people. right? To get their bank account number and all the other things to be very smooth. And I was just like, nobody thought of that. Nobody thought of, blocking those conversations, because these are conversations that should not be happening. Yet again, they are getting, becoming early adopters by using this tool for bad.
Yeah.
And Marjolein, what's your take on this?
There's a lot to be figured out, right? And I love what you're saying, Selena. Let's find out how, in what ways it can be a risk, and mitigate that, work with that, and also work with the opportunities, and look at it that way. And I really like that you present it that way. And I think that's very helpful. And what I think we're seeing is that everything's still so early stage that there's plenty that we haven't figured out yet. It's also going really fast. I think that's
too fast, in my opinion.
Experts pointing to that. It's going so fast that we can't see everything. It's like, the train's just been invented and people are going, oh, trains are awful, not on my land. And then, well, they're dangerous. Yes, if you step on the rails, they're going to be very dangerous to you. And there are things that we haven't figured out about them yet. Like, where is the steam going to go? How are the cows going to get scared? We're still figuring all that out. And unlike those steam trains that, compared to what we know now, did not go all that fast, AI is going so fast.
Yeah.
I am worried, though.
That's the main thing right now, the speed of it.
It is the speed.
Yeah.
It is the speed, but also I am worried because, was it a while ago that, I don't know which medium or media exposed who is checking all those facts, right? Who is checking if the questions that we are asking is unethical? And sometimes when I use ChatGPT, and sometimes when I put in a prompt, it tells me like, I don't know. This is a general. You shouldn't be asking me. Go do your research. So sometimes AI is a little bit snotty and sharing snarky remarks to me. But then again, I come from an age, and I'm giving away my age. I come from an age where we used to have encyclopedias, and now everything can be researched online. Even I worry about my child that he will not be able to visit the libraries anymore because everything is figure outable online. He will not be able to trigger his brain where he's doing some investigation or writing his own thesis or his own paper. Now the only thing that the kids need to do is type in, write a few pages, and this is the thesis that I've written, and they can, at least now they can fool people, right? At least now they can fool people. I don't know how it will be when 10 years later, but it worries me how fast things are going. It worries me.
And that worries a lot of people. That's what I'm seeing in my sessions too, especially people who work in communications and anything related to writing, for example. They get very nervous about AI replacing their work.
Wasn't this also the reason why the writers community in Hollywood, right? They were on a strike.
Yeah. People get nervous.
Tell me, just bring it on. Bring it on.
People get nervous. But in my mind, and I was thinking about this not long ago, I was like, we're in this revolution now, as what they're calling it. And we've had several revolutions before. I think of the Industrial Revolution. People were nervous then, just like you were saying, Marlon. People were nervous then. People were like, what's going on? And we made it here to 2023. So because of the speed, it's time to just stop being nervous and start educating yourself. If you are worried, and it's exactly what you're saying, Marlon, big concern, is it going to replace my job? Is it going to be better than me? And I get with ChatGPT, you could literally cut and paste scripts and do all your copywriting and all the other things. However, there is still a place for humans.
Yeah.
There is there's still a way that you can use this to assist you and also add that sparkle to say, and this is why you still need me.
Yeah.
But you're not going to know that if you don't put the time in and the commitment to research what's the best way to use this to my advantage.
Yeah.
True.
Learn
Yeah,
prompts.
yeah,
Learn
learn
how
learn
to do
from.
that. And
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
what I've been seeing is that when people actually try it out, they find out what is missing in AI generated material from the material that they make themselves. So rather than being
True.
scared and thinking, oh, it's
There
going
you
to replace
go.
my work, try it out
Mm,
and see what's missing that you are the only person who can add in, or your team can add in.
yes.
Because AI either isn't there yet or will never be there.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
And I
yeah.
see also when looking at AI, I see it as literally a is it a crutch that I'm using? Is that the English word for
Yes.
the
Crutch.
sticks that I
Yeah,
need to
yeah,
walk
you stick.
around, right? I
Yeah.
see AI as a crutch for the
Mm,
work that some people are doing, right? So not
mm,
replacing my work, but seeing it as a crutch to sometimes lean on it, walk easier, walk
yeah.
faster, walk
Mhm.
sooner.
Yeah. And you are going to get people in the workplace that are like, oh, this is the best thing that happened. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm secretly one of those people. I'm like, oh my God,
yeah.
this is so great.
It's a
But
cool gadget. It's a cool
yeah,
gadget.
it's, it 100% saves time
Yeah,
and brain power,
yeah,
especially when you're having to be creative and
yeah.
strategic.
Hmm.
That's where I find it's really helpful
Hmm.
because it just gives that jump start.
Yeah.
Um, but again, it's like work out what it is, how to use it, how it can benefit you. Otherwise, you will get replaced. I'm just going to say it. You will get replaced.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're bringing up a topic right now, which I feel like we need to address it. A lot of people are worried about it being replaced, and is that part of when not to activate AI?
Oh, I'm gonna let you go, Marl.
No, no, no. You started the conversation. I'm curious to hear.
Well, what I was hearing Selena say, and please add on to that. I'll be your AI.
Yeah.
I will jumpstart you, and you add on to it. What I heard you say was, you know, figure out how it works, and then rise above it with
Mm.
your humanness.
I think what people are missing as well, I feel like we've been in a really false sense of security.
Mm.
And I wouldn't even say in the last
Okay,
5 years.
okay. I'm gonna
Mm,
stop you again and
mm.
see this smiley, the smiley that I have this way as my
Yeah.
awesome card.
Yeah.
This is my awesome card, and
Can you get
just
Orlando back and then hold it
just
up when it needs
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
no. Orlando is mad at me, so he's not going to
Oh
go
no,
down.
don't be mad.
Yeah. um, you just briefly mentioned something and went right ahead, and I just want you to
What did I
say it
say?
again.
What did I say? That was
Help me
awesome. What did I
remember.
say?
I don't remember it
Um,
anymore.
oh,
Oh, this
really?
is bad.
This is bad. You put
Everyone
me on the
watching,
spot now.
rewind, rewatch,
Rewind and help us
laugh
out.
at us.
This is me for not sitting in my own room, but and also the laughing and all this
Yeah.
something distracted me. But you were saying something
Mm,
about it not being replaced, right? That's what
mm.
we were talking about, and you
Ah,
said
okay.
something
Yes.
very briefly.
About being replaced,
Yeah,
maybe. Um, yes. I think what I was going on to say about being replaced is that I feel like we have been very comfortable in the workplace in the last 10
exactly.
years.
That was the
That's
part.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Comfortable.
was the part.
That
That
was
was it.
it.
You were
Because
using a different word, but it was still the
yeah,
same.
it was
That was the word.
comfortable
Yeah,
because I remember being in organizations, being asked to assist with, we've got this AI project and we may activate it, we may not activate it. We're just kind of exploring and bringing in all these different consultancy
and
firms to
now.
talk about it. And look what's happened. If it might have been a consideration 5 years ago, it's not a consideration anymore. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, I don't think organizations have caught up to the fact that we are here. So
Yeah.
you have to reorganize your
And
operations.
with the we, what are you referring to? The we as the tech people, tech
Yeah,
generally,
well,
or?
not even just tech, right? You could be in a non-tech role. I think this is another bit where
Mm-hmm.
people get confused and they think, oh, that's something that's happening over there in IT. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
don't even have
Mm-hmm.
IT departments anymore in that traditional sense. So
Mm-hmm.
you may be in a non-tech role and this is coming to you
Mm.
one way or another. You more than likely will get replaced unless you understand that you still have a role to play in your organization. You still have a job. You can still earn your money. You just need a different role. You need a different skill set. That's all that's happening.
And that's also important for a lot of employees to be sure that grow vertically, expand your skills
Absolutely.
vertically,
Expand
or
your skill
maybe
set.
horizontally, right? But if
Mm,
horizontal is not possible, see what you can do, learn how to write prompts, become a mini prompt engineer, or find a way to for AI to enhance whatever you're doing at the moment right
yeah, absolutely.
now. Yeah.
Well, in
And
And I'm,
yeah. Mm,
mhm, yeah,
in terms
you
of
wanted to say something?
AI, in whatever you're doing, I'm seeing people use AI when they're writing cover letters, when they're drawing
mm.
up their CVs, their resumes. I'm seeing people use AI to send a funny poem to a friend. A friend of mine just did that the other week. I'm seeing people use AI to develop coaching. So in the future, you might have some form of coaching, and I could also do coaching. Um, at least at this stage of development,
Mhm.
it's going to show up in all kinds of corners of your life,
Mm.
not just at work. And I think, in that sense, it's going to be like other things that, first email was just this thing, or computers. There was this big thing at the
The
office on your
phone, even, right? We come from an age where we had to do this to ring people, right?
and
Yeah.
first it's in the office, then it comes to
Yeah.
people's homes, and now it's just integrated into your life.
Hmm.
Um, so if that's going to happen, and you think, well, I'm just going to wait it out because my company is not using it. Well, next time you blink, it's in your toilet or in your wherever. I'm just making something up here, but
That is true.
integrated in all corners of our lives.
Sure. But
Yeah.
you
That's
brought
a
up
really good point.
you brought up a topic though, which I have to
Mhm,
highlight because
Hmm.
mm.
last week Marilyn showed me something where there was a tool. I don't know what the tool was, and I'm not gonna highlight it because they are not
They're all in
sponsoring me.
beta, so we can't share it anyway.
I don't wanna, but still it was a tool that was trying to mimic the whole coaching aspects. And I'm just like, I don't have an interaction with people, which is really relevant when I'm talking to my coachee, but also the fact that you don't see any facial expressions, right? And the people that know me or my coachees, they know that you can fool me with your voice, but I see something happening on your face and I'm going to ask questions. Is it aligning with your face? Because people of color are known for their facial expressions as well. So sometimes it doesn't align. And how will AI or ChatGPT or whatever tool, how would that tool catch that? Because my face or the way that I say is different for somebody who's living in Jamaica, or is different for somebody who's living in the US that is saying the same thing but having a different facial expression with a different definition. I just dropped a bomb, right?
You did drop a bomb. And you know what? You've also got us to a place that we haven't talked about yet, which is AI impersonating us. Because
Really?
as
Yes.
you're talking, Vivian, I'm thinking, but won't you just have your own Vivian? That's you, that does your facial expressions for you. Like, why worry about it when there's going to be a digital you?
uh, for somebody who has to show humanize the workplace, how can I humanize a copy of myself? Is it going to be iRobot, where I just, do a backup of what I have at the moment right now and keep it? And I mean, if that's the case, then I'm all in it, because I need myself triple, not twice, but triple.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
for early impersonations we've seen, I think, I don't know where it
Mhm.
was, Dubai, somewhere in the Middle East, they had their first television presenter,
Wow.
full on reading the news. She was there. She was lifelike. I just, musician, a lot of artists. I
Yeah.
know it's
Drake was
holograms, but
even
it's going
copied,
there.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
again, it's scary, yes, to think
Yeah.
that someone's going to have my voice and my mannerisms and what
Yeah.
can that do. But again, maybe that's something that we just don't need to worry about and just
It
accept
is
that
it
it's
is
going to be
scary
us.
though, because
Yeah.
there are a lot of things that are being activated with voice commands, right?
Mm.
If I, for instance, can impersonate Barack Obama, and Barack Obama uses a voice lock or uses something with his voice to unlock something, that's scary that I'm able to copy him.
That's a
Mm.
security risk. Yeah.
It is a
Yeah.
security risk, yeah. And again, that's the pace, right? That's the speed. We
Yeah.
haven't figured out what do we do? How do you protect your identity in this space?
Well, at least Spotify and all the other platforms banned AI creation of music, right? Because The
Okay.
Weeknd was copied, and I
Mm.
think some other rapper besides Drake was copied as well. Where people were fooled, like, "Are you dropping new music?" And apparently, it wasn't them, but it sounded like them. It sounded like them.
I have a question for you, Selena, if that's okay,
Mm.
Vivian. And
Yes, you can take over the show.
Hey, on the hot seat.
I'm really curious about something, and I think Vivian's gonna share something at the end of this episode that's gonna make a bit more sense
Make it make sense.
yes,
Ooh.
Okay.
that I'm doing this. It all makes sense once she shares it. So I've been seeing examples of beta tests for AI coaches. So
Mm.
a client types in types in a question
Mm.
for a coach, and the AI
Wow.
coach interacts with the client, with the coachee. Um, Now, what I've been seeing so far is that the AI is quite good at getting to the core of the problem that the coachee is presenting. So really finding out what is your actual problem by asking follow-up questions like why that, and digging deeper. Now, that isn't actually coaching.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Coaching addresses the person and not the problem.
And
If you
also,
want
where is
to
the
advise,
transformation, right?
yeah.
Where is the
So when you
transformation?
want to advise or mentor
Mm-hmm.
or consult, then all of these questions function quite well.
Mm-hmm.
When you coach, it's different kinds of questions and it's different kinds of results, and it's guiding people to find information themselves or make
Mm-hmm.
decisions themselves. And there's a difference there. Now, I'm curious whether AI will be able to start doing that. And one part of that is the coach bringing in their brain and
Mm.
analyzing what they're
And
picking
their
up,
heart.
and their heart, and their tone of voice, and like Vivian said, and their facial
Mm.
expressions. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can say, "I really love that,"
It's just like
and
that.
if I type that, no AI is going to pick up that I was actually involuntarily shaking my, and
Going
people
no.
do that in a session, and I pick it up.
Yeah.
So maybe if you
Yeah.
have a camera in, AI that picks up images, they might be able to pick that up once that gets more sophisticated.
But
And
then
many
you
of
then
these,
you have the facial mimics, right? Because the way that
Mm.
Selena is nodding yes means different for me.
well, yeah,
I don't
you
believe
might get
AI
someone from
can
India, and they, everyone knew
exactly.
that, and people move their faces in different
Exactly.
ways. So you'd have to train
Yeah.
it for every type of tiny inflection. Just,
Yeah.
Scottish people can't operate voice voice powered, instructions. It's just, there's a funny video about that, and that happens too. So, but once it could get that sophisticated in theory, I get that.
It could.
However,
Yeah.
how about intuition?
Oh, there's so much to unpack in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm dropping.
Let's unpack.
Almost
Let's
There's so much to unpack.
The point that I got to is, how about intuition? Because how can you teach AI intuition? I just have this gut feeling, and
it cannot replace us in that way.
No. So let me try and
so, but you tell me.
Let me try and simplify what you're saying.
Sure.
My first thought when you were talking about the coach and the fact that at this moment in time, it's spitting out questions and answers, it's not actually coaching. This goes back to two things. We are in the early stages, even though everything's going fast. AI is not there yet. It can't mimic a coach, or it's not trained to do coaching. I think the other thing is, like everything, you need to do your due diligence. So if you are going to use a coaching tool and you don't understand what coaching is and what you need, you will fall into the trap of just getting something mediocre, which happens anyway, right? It's like going to a shop. If you don't do your due diligence properly, you go and purchase something and it's not really fit for purpose. It's not quite what you need. AI is no different. You purchasee, or the person using it, needs to do your due diligence. Also need to be mindful that we're in the early stages.
Right.
What was the other thing you were saying? I think that, yes, it also goes back to what we were saying in the very, very beginning about humanizing. We will be replaced for some skill sets, some things, but the secret sauce is still the human. Because we have the intuition, because we are in this life, this is where we can be the top and use AI to help us, not replace us, if we think that way. So I think that's spot on what you were saying there about this is why you still need a human element of coaching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that somebody was sharing this on LinkedIn, and it had to do with that image of project management, right? Where a client is sharing something and then the other consultant is translating it like a apple, and the other consultant is translating it like ananas, and the pineapple, and the other consultant is translating like an orange juice or something, right? If the client is not clear, so in this case, if you as a person using AI, if you're not clear and not creating that boundaries and not setting things up for success, then I believe that in the end, human will win all the time. We cannot cut corners with AI when we use AI in this way. I just want us to use AI as a crutch to be able to walk faster for those who cannot walk faster, or for those who just need to lean on something so that they feel supported. That's how I see AI.
100%. I think the feel supported.
Yeah.
That is also where we say about humanizing. Exactly what you're saying, Marlon. It's not just at work, in anything you're doing in life. It can be the support, it can be the crutch. So let's think of it that way, but let's just not be fooled, right?
That feels very different, from risk and threat to support. And you want it to be a support where you can still stand on your own 2 feet, ideally most of the time, or be self-sufficient. However, support rather than threat is already very different.
Yeah.
I was reminded
that I wanted to say this is a topic that I can talk for hours and hours and hours, but I also want to be mindful of the time, and I have a curfew, so I just want to come to this last question. So, no, this was not the question. The question is, when it comes to humanizing the workplace in 2020, 2030, and AI, what is your wish?
Got 1,000 wishes.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is that we have understood how to use this for good
For
in Human Rights
good.
in the Workplace, for good. So we have sorted out wherever we want to be with our culture, helping people to feel inclusive without the tech. And then we've understood how tech, especially AI, can be used for good. And everybody is comfortable
Yeah, I see
using
somebody
it.
sharing yes, yes to AI.
And I'm doing this emoji for
Yeah.
Selena. Yes,
Yeah.
So,
beautiful.
will there be some policing done on AI? The ethical officers
There should be. I
policing?
mean, it's through the roof. That's another area that is beyond busy trying to work out the ethics
Mm-hmm.
and legal. So yes, it will need policing. How? Don't know. But yes.
Okay. Okay, Marilyn.
There's not much I can add to Selena's answer. That was excellent. One other thing that my perspective reminds me of is, let AI remind us and keep reminding us of the value of our own humanness,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even see that in more see that more clearly because the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Sometimes you
would
see
hope
something
that
once it's juxtaposed with something else.
Yeah.
I would hope that when, our kids reach a certain age where they are able to use their brain power in a similar way as the way that we are doing, and not, totally leaning on to AI as AI knows it all, right? Because I have to, Orlando has reached an age right now where he's being told to go to Google, and I try to tell
Mm.
him that it's good that you're doing that, but then again, do some more research. How many people are sharing this? Where does it come from? So that you can check if it's true, because not everything that is on Google is true, and not everything that is on AI is true.
Very much so.
Very much so.
Yeah,
You've got to keep reinforcing that message. Otherwise, we
yeah,
will be in a place where people don't know what's real and what's not real. It's
yeah,
very true. Yeah.
yeah.
In terms of bias, I mean, everything that went in is what comes out, and that is mainly, you know, white, male, certain age, certain part of the world, certain
Mm-hmm.
language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So it
Hmm.
is.
There's so much to do, so much to learn. But first of all, thank you for having this conversation. I want to say thank you for those who are watching the replay, and also Selena. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, but please stay on.
Okay. Yeah.
So goodbye to everybody, and I think I'm not sure. Yes, I have one session in August, but I'll do a mini break. So instead of having twice a session, and I think I'm gonna have a session with Mary Jane soon. But and also I have a surprise which I haven't shared, which I should be sharing. And the surprise is that I have been working really hard with Maya Lang. Together, we have been working really hard to set up a podcast, which is launching very soon. But you can sign up and you can see our introduction episode, which is already there. And we have been talking to various people, experts, um, DEI global mindset people who are sharing the behind the scenes. Because there's a lot about the strategy, a lot about the initiatives, but we want to see who's the human behind it, what made them become a DEI professional, right? Because sometimes people seem to think that it's like a Disney variance of becoming a DEI professional, but believe me, it's not Disney at all. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of emotional labor. Marjolein, do you have something to add regarding that?
Yeah, well, this is why I had to sort of step back and not like co-host here too, because we've been co-hosting, and at one point I couldn't resist. So thank you for Vivian for letting me do that question to Selena.
Of course, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very excited about the conversations that we're having, and excited to be able to share those quite
Yeah.
soon.
So
It's
so
real
we are
stories about the good stuff and the hard stuff and the things that we inspire each other with, and yeah, more of that coming soon.
So check us out. And if you have any questions regarding this, or if you have any questions regarding the conversations today, please follow Selena, please follow Marjolein, and of course, follow me if you don't know me yet. But this was an insightful conversation, which is marinating and still processing. And there's a lot that is going here in my mind, like, oh, we should have talked about that. We should have talked about that. And there's so much more to share about AI. But I'm curious to where this journey may lead. So thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank
And enjoy
you.
the evening, day, night.